So first question to Nicola, why did the Vale of Glamorgan decide to take part in Race Equality Week early this year?
Well, through attending its meetings, we were aware that Race Equality Matters provided some really practical and well-structured solutions, and we felt our organisation was ready to use them. So for us, Race Equality Week provided that opportunity to put those into practice. And in particular, we used the week to hold our first safe space meeting and also to launch #MyNameIs.
Thank you. Martine, what activity did you run during the week? And more importantly, what impact did you notice?
Okay, we had a few activities that week. We started the week, and you saw a picture of him just now. The chief execs sent a message on our internal communications. And then what was really good was we had an equality champion, one of our elected members in our council. She gave a really good proactive statement about making sure that Race Equality Week was a really good opportunity to raise the profile of tackling issues that affect Black, Asian and ethnic minority colleagues in the council. We had a big promise, and Nicola's already said about we had some My Name Is, and we publicised the diverse network, and the chief exec did a roundup of the week. But what I wanted to just touch on was the safe space meeting. So if we're thinking of how we can support colleagues going forward for next year, I wanted just to focus on the safe space meeting because it was a 2-hour facilitated discussion, and the aim of the discussion was to open up an honest, and I mean properly honest with a capital H, conversation about race equality in the organisation, but in a really positive, constructive way, because we wanted to make sure that if we're going to have tricky conversations, it's done as safely as possible. So members of the chief executive of the council, which include directors, met up with Nicola, my colleague in corporate qualities, and members of the diverse network, the steering group. So that was ethnic minority employees, but also allies as well. And we agreed actions. Now, part of the safe space was making brave, courageous, sometimes crazy suggestions and hope that it was okay. And one of the suggestions from the network was about mandatory race awareness training that touched on unconscious bias. And when it was put forward, there was tumbleweeds, and the executives were like, yeah, well, we'll commit to that, and we will make a real conscious effort, which I felt was really important. And we also talked about the visibility of ethnic minority colleagues and making sure that people felt valued. So what was the point of the week? For me, Race Equality Week made sure that there was real commitment. And I don't want to repeat what you said, Javid, about action, not about action, but it was a real action-fueled week. It wasn't just a talking shop. So when the chief exec gave the roundup, as an employee, as a teacher, it felt like we'd made a difference and we're making real progress. So for me, that's what we did, and that's what the impact was.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nicola. So as the theme for this year is everyone's business, so really importantly, how did you engage senior leaders to take part in 2022?
Well, for us, we've got a fairly formal structure. So it was a question of writing a report on what it was all about and why it was useful to participate. Unfortunately, in terms of what was going on in the organisation, it really fitted very nicely because our senior leadership team were very supportive and welcomed the initiative of part of its ongoing work to make the organisation more inclusive.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. And Martine, do you have any ideas or plans for Race Equality Week 2023 that you could share?
We do have some ideas, but rather than just talking about specific ideas, what's got to be behind the ideas is we've got to be proactive as an organisation and be properly committed and sustained. So it's not just one-off things. We want to make sure that we review the safe space and run it again, but keep evaluating the actions, because what we didn't want to do was make promises, especially if people have put their head up, literally just spoken up. We wanted those actions to be real life. So what we want to do 2023, we want to carry on with the safe space conversations, because for me, they made a real difference. So we keep doing that, keep evaluating the actions, and keep talking and really listening.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. And finally, Martine, so there's a lot of initiatives, a lot of diversity weeks, days, months throughout the year. So why should organisations have a lot of choice? Why should other organisations get involved in Race Equality Week if they haven't done it before?
Okay, I'm going to be really honest and say that why should people do it? It's more than the right thing to do, but if people are going to do it, they need to understand it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging. And I would say for me, the real benefit of taking part as an organisation is it makes people want to stay. It makes people feel important and heard. And what I would want to feedback why people do it, I want to tell you how it made me feel, because as has been said, I've been teaching a very, very, very long time. And as a teacher, there have been many times in my career that I've felt invisible. Now, taking part in Race Equality Week, and especially the Safe Space Week, it made me feel properly visible, and it made me feel valued and truly heard. So I think, why should organisations do it? If it makes people like me, like Nicola, feel heard, then that's a really good reason on a human level why we should do it.